I always knew I was adopted. My parents never kept it a secret. They told me from a young age that I was chosen, that they picked me because they wanted me. That kind of love, intentional love, always made me feel special. And for most of my life, I believed them. I believed I was part of something whole, that I belonged. But what I didn't know, what I couldn't have guessed, was that being adopted would one day become the reason I was shut out, forgotten, and discarded, like I was never really family at all. It started after my dad died. I was 27. He had a heart attack in his sleep, gone in an instant. No warnings, no goodbyes. I was devastated. He'd been a quiet man, reserved, but kind. The type who'd show up when it mattered, even if he didn't always say the right things. I clung to the memories we had, the way he taught me to ride a bike, the fishing trips, the hours spent fixing up my first car in the garage. Losing him felt like a punch to the chest. My mom spiraled after his death. She withdrew, stopped calling, stopped answering texts. I chalked it up to grief, gave her space, but when I finally visited her a few months later, something had shifted. There was a coldness in her voice, a formality, like I was a guest in her house, not her child. I didn't understand it. I didn't want to. Then came the will. I wasn't expecting much. My parents weren't rich, just a modest home, a retirement account, some family keepsakes. What mattered to me wasn't the money, it was being included, being seen. But when the lawyer read the will, my name never came up, not once. Everything was left to my younger brother Mason, my parents' biological son. I sat there, stunned. The room started to spin. I waited, hoping there was some mistake. Maybe my name was in a separate letter. Maybe they planned something for me privately, but there was nothing. Just a cold signature on a document that confirmed what I was too afraid to say out loud. I wasn't really their child, not in the way that counted. After the reading, I pulled the lawyer aside, asked if I'd been left anything. A note, a keepsake, a photo. His eyes were sympathetic. "I'm sorry," he said. "There's nothing addressed to you." My stomach dropped. I couldn't speak. I left without saying goodbye to anyone. For days I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. My entire childhood played in my mind on a loop. Every hug, every birthday, every bedtime story. Were those lies? Was I just a charity case? I tried to call my mom. She didn't answer. When she finally texted back, it was short, cold. "The will was your father's decision." I didn't want to fight it. That was it. That was all she had to say. Mason didn't reach out either. He and I were never close, but we were brothers, or so I thought. But now he had the house, the car, the savings, the photo albums, the stories, all of it. And I had questions. Burning, painful questions. So I did what any desperate person does when the people they trust turn their backs. I started digging. I requested court records, adoption papers, anything that could give me some clarity. That's when I found something strange. A sealed envelope buried in the adoption file. It wasn't from an agency. It was handwritten, yellowed with age, and it wasn't from my birth parents. It was from someone named Judith. The letter was short. "Please take care of him. We've lost so much already. He deserves a real life. Far from all this." That was it. No return address, no last name, but it opened a door I didn't know existed. Who was Judith? Why did she sound scared? Why had my adoption been so secretive? The letter had a date. That was my only clue. I went to the local library and started digging through newspaper archives. I didn't expect to find anything, but then I did. A small article from the same week I was adopted. A house fire. A family destroyed. A couple killed. Their infant son reported missing. Never found. My blood went cold. The town was only 2 hours away. The baby's name was never published. But the ages lined up. The timeline. The date of my adoption. And one detail struck me like lightning. The mother's name was Judith. Judith Holloway. The name from the letter. Could it be? Was I that baby? I contacted a genealogist, submitted DNA to an ancestry database, waited weeks, terrified. And then the results came in. Not only was I not related to my adoptive parents, I was directly matched to a distant cousin from the Holloway family. I was that missing child. That fire wasn't just a tragedy, it was the beginning of a lie. I confronted my mother, showed up at her door with the DNA results. Her face went pale. She didn't speak, just sat down. like her legs gave out beneath her. I laid the letter on the table. The article, everything. She stared at it for a long time, then finally whispered, "We couldn't have children. Not at first. Your father, he worked with a man from that town. After the fire, there was talk. Rumors that the baby had survived. He brought you home one day, said it was fate, that no one would ever know." I was speechless. My entire life had been built on a stolen identity, a buried tragedy. I asked why she didn't tell me, why she didn't leave me anything. She looked up, eyes full of tears, and said, "Because deep down, I always feared you weren't really ours. And your father, he never let me forget it. It was cruel, twisted, and yet it made sense. The distance, the coldness, the favoritism. I wasn't a son. I was a secret. And now that my father was gone, the truth had nowhere left to hide. But I didn't stop there. I reached out to the Holloway family, told them everything. They welcomed me cautiously at first. But once the truth was verified, once they saw the baby pictures, the DNA, the facts, they embraced me like a ghost returned. A cousin even gave me a ring that belonged to Judith. "She always believed you were alive," she said. "She never stopped hoping." So yeah, my parents left me out of their will, because I was adopted. But that betrayal led me to something they never expected. The truth, and the family I was always meant to find.